Never looked at myself. It was never the way I looked. So when I was like,
This bodybuilding thing, I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to bodybuild. I just want to, get a good workout in. And where I went, every time I would go to the store, go to the supermarket, people would always ask me if I worked out.
Yeah, buddy! Wait!
A journey of bodybuilding excellence. Man, let's talk about Ronnie Coleman, a true legend in the bodybuilding sense. I mean, his journey is like a roller coaster of inspiration and hard work. You dive into his story and you get this insight into how he started, those early days that laid the foundation for his incredible career. And it's not just about lifting weights, it's about the mindset, the determination that set him apart. What really gets me is his unique approach to bodybuilding. Ronnie wasn't just about the muscles. He understood the science, the technique, the whole package. It's like he cracked the code to pushing his body to its limits while staying safe and strategic. And his achievements, those Olympia wins, they're like a testament to his dedication and consistency. But you dig deeper and you realize it's not just about the titles, it's about the mindset that drove him there. Listening to him talk about his journey, you get this sense of someone who went all in, who didn't hold back. From the early grind to the pinnacle of success, his story is a lesson in discipline and passion. It's like peeling back the layers of a champion and seeing the sweat, the sacrifices, and the sheer love for what he does.
Because I had no idea that any of those guys had said that stuff,
To look good.
Yeah.
Got it. So how do you psychologically, for you, knowing your...
But too much of nothing.
How do you process it? I know one of the things I'd like to do today, Ronnie, is I'm hoping we can do this.
Ronnie Coleman's insights go beyond the weights. They touch on life, on pushing limits, and on embracing challenges. He's a living example of turning dreams into reality through relentless effort and an unbreakable spirit. His story's not just for bodybuilders, it's for anyone who wants to learn what it truly takes to become a powerhouse in whatever they do.
12.
Okay.
The reason why I started, because when I was a kid, like it was yesterday, the first time I went to the gym, he's like, man, you a pretty big guy. You up doing it?
You were just powerlifting.
Powerlifting. That
So
was it.
your core before bodybuilding was 100% strength.
Early exposure to bodybuilding. So imagine this. Coleman, a guy from a small town in Louisiana, didn't have a ton of sports options while growing up. The usual suspects like football, basketball, track, and powerlifting were the main games in town. But here's the interesting twist. Bodybuilding wasn't really on the radar back then. But Coleman was a different breed. He found his way into lifting weights when he was just around 12 years old. Can you believe that? It wasn't for competition or anything. He was just having a blast with it. And you know what? That little spark ignited something big. It was like the first piece of a jigsaw puzzle falling into place.
Was certain people, Alonzo, that played a big role in your life? You can tell that there were certain people that impacted your life and certain life.
Because I'm new, and I'm still learning.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
I'm having fun, having the time of my life. Bodybuilding? I'm like, no, dude, I ain't never did bodybuilding. I'm not into that.
Yeah, buddy! Wait!
Over time, that simple enjoyment of lifting weights led Coleman down some pretty cool paths. He got into powerlifting, lifting crazy heavy weights to show off his strength. And that wasn't all. He ventured into the world of bodybuilding too. Yeah, that's right. The sport where you sculpt your body like a work of art. So long story short, Coleman's journey from a small Louisiana town to becoming a powerlifting and bodybuilding enthusiast is one heck of an inspiring ride. It goes to show that sometimes all it takes is a little spark of interest to set you on a path you never could have imagined.
Never looked at myself. It was never the way I looked. So when I was like, anything.
What do you mean when you
when
say
I was
that?
215, huh?
What do you mean when you say that?
Oh, there's no way. He's like, well, I got tape measure. I can prove it to you. I'm like, let's bring it out.
Transition to bodybuilding. When Coleman hit the age of 26, someone dropped a bombshell on him. They suggested he could actually become Mr. Olympia. Now, that's like the ultimate title in the world of bodybuilding. But you know how life is, right? Coleman was already deep into his career as a police officer, and he wasn't too sure about diving headfirst into the bodybuilding world. At first, he hesitated. I mean, who wouldn't? It's a huge decision to change gears like that. He had his steady job, his routine. It was a lot to consider, but you know what? Sometimes destiny taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "Hey, take a chance." So, after some back and forth, Coleman slowly started warming up to the idea.
That's so important to you.
Well, because I've always tried to be the best at everything that I've ever done, and no,
That wasn't the
I
case.
still loved it.
Still loved it. But let me ask
That
you
was
this.
one of the things I loved about the job. You know, it was my main thing. I liked helping people, and I liked doing something different every single day.
That's another challenge.
It wasn't an overnight thing. It's like that feeling you get when you're dipping your toes into a cold pool. You're cautious at first, but when you start to enjoy it, and before he knew it, he was all in. And let me tell you, that decision, it changed everything. It was a turning point, a real game changer. Coleman went from a police officer with a regular routine to a guy who had his eyes set on becoming a professional bodybuilder. Talk about a shift, right? It's like the moment the pieces fell into place, setting the stage for all the amazing things he'd achieve later on. So there you have it, a glimpse into how sometimes a single suggestion can set off a chain reaction that leads to a whole new chapter in life.
For years, yeah.
Okay.
Never did any bodybuilding, never wanted to do any. And I went to this bodybuilding thing. I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to bodybuild. I just want to, get a good workout in, and 7 years old.
Yeah.
So after a while, I'm like, man, why did everybody ask me if I worked out?
Balancing bodybuilding and work. Man, let me tell you about Coleman's incredible balancing act. So picture this. He's not only chasing his dream of becoming a top-tier bodybuilder, but he's also got this full-on gig as a police officer. Now that might sound like juggling flaming swords, but Coleman didn't just pull it off, he aced it. You see, it's all about the nitty-gritty details. Coleman was like a master architect when it came to planning. He meticulously crafted training routines that slid seamlessly into his busy police officer schedule. I mean, can you imagine the level of dedication that takes? Most of us struggle to fit in a workout between Netflix episodes, right? But not Coleman. He had this unwavering commitment that could move mountains. He'd go to work, deal with all the stuff police officers deal with, and then he'd hit the gym like a man on a mission. It's like he had 30 hours in a day instead of 24.
It happened overnight. So it ain't nothing like having your hard work pay off. Doing something, I go all out, Like when I worked for the police department, I went all out, I studied every single night.
When you were at Grambling or in high school?
Grambling, every single night. And, I tried to be the best I possibly could be when I was playing football there,
And let me tell you, that kind of discipline wasn't just for show. It played a game-changing role in his journey to becoming a successful bodybuilder. All that meticulous planning, that dogged determination, it wasn't just sweat and reps, it was a blueprint for success. So the next time you're tempted to hit the snooze button on your morning jog, remember Coleman. He proved that with the right mindset, the right plan, and an unshakable commitment, you can sculpt the life you want, even if you're balancing two entirely different worlds. Prioritizing health in bodybuilding. Central to Coleman's philosophy is the importance of maintaining a healthy approach to bodybuilding.
Match, a long, tough match for him today, and Roger is just breezed into the quarters.
Yeah, Roger spent a match.
All right, on the ground.
Just in case, just so we don't get lost.
He emphasizes the significance of regular blood tests, undergoing comprehensive assessments multiple times a year. This commitment to monitoring his health indicators reflects his responsible attitude towards the sport and his well-being. Unconventional dietary practices. One intriguing revelation from Coleman is his admission that he didn't consume vegetables during his bodybuilding competition diets. Despite the unconventional nature of this practice, his genetics and rigorous health monitoring allowed him to sustain this approach. This insight sheds light on the complexity of individual dietary strategies in the world of bodybuilding. Legacy and NFTs. Coleman's story isn't just about lifting weights and flexing muscles. It's a legacy that goes beyond the gym. Let me break it down for you. So this guy, after all his bodybuilding triumphs, did something pretty darn cool. He hopped onto the NFT train. NFTs? Yeah, those digital collectibles that are taking the world by storm. Coleman, in all his genius, decided to immortalize key moments from his remarkable career as NFTs. Imagine owning a digital piece of history, capturing those pivotal moments that made him a legend. It's like owning a piece of the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame.
But I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish, but like I said, nothing happened overnight. It took me like...
Where I went, every time I would go to the store, go to the supermarket, people would always ask me if I worked out.
Were you in college? Were you a killer? Were you somebody that had the ability to go to the next level?
Same thing in high school. And when I started bodybuilding, same thing. You know, every single chance she got to come.
And you know what's even more mind-blowing? This venture isn't just about making a quick buck. It's a living proof of Coleman's everlasting impact on the world of bodybuilding. Those NFTs aren't just tokens. They're a tribute to his journey, a nod to his unique path. It's like saying, hey world, remember the guy who defied the odds? Here's a piece of his journey. Speaking of his journey, man, it's a treasure trove of wisdom. Coleman's story offers a backstage pass into his early influences, the way he saw bodybuilding, and how he climbed that ladder to become a household name in the sport. I mean, it's not just his muscles that got him there, it's his mindset, his philosophy, his relentless pursuit of excellence. And let's not forget the inspiration factor. His experiences aren't just cool stories for the sports crowd, they're nuggets of motivation for anyone dreaming big. You want to be a top-notch athlete, an achiever? Coleman's journey screams you can do it too. It's like he's handing out a dose of "you've got this" to anyone who cares to listen. That's all for this video, folks. We will see you next time.